So if you're struggling with, trying to lose weight and you're not seeing the scale move and it's frustrating and it's very time consuming and maddening, I would say
tired, weary, frustrated. What would you be doing if you weren't raising children alone? What's stopping you from living your best life now? On SoloMoms Talk, I discuss with solo mothers the challenges you face raising children alone. So if you're a working solo mom dealing with independent children, insensitive bosses, weight and health issues, or even debt collectors, join us as we discover your path to get and stay healthy, increase your income, and live with joy and purpose.
In this battle of life, it's hard to keep your head above the water. So win this fight.
My guest today is high performance coach Roman Fischer. Welcome, Roman. Thank you for being in SoloMoms Talk.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. Before we talk about what you do, could you tell us who is Roman Fischer?
Yes. So I am an actor, model, bodybuilder, and high performance coach, helping people just transform their minds and bodies and also just increasing their energy, happiness, and overall self-confidence too.
Oh, thank you. Succinct. Thanks.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So there are lots of people who are into fitness and high performance and all of that. But I think that 99.9% of them have a story. What brought you into fitness?
For sure. So as ironic and weird as it might seem and sound, I was actually not always into fitness. In fact, I used to be one of those skinny kids, and I never really looked out for what I ate, what I was drinking, what I was eating, what I was putting in my body, and even on my body. I used to put on some, moisturizers maybe now and then, but they had a lot of, chemicals in them and just a lot of bad stuff I would do to my body and not even realize it and really not even care. Also, too, I never really worked out. I would just lounge around and play video games and just go to school, play video games. That was my life back then. But what really got me into fitness and just health and fitness in general was, there were really a couple of key factors and key things in my life and my past that, occurred that transformed my whole mindset and my whole lifestyle into what I do today. And so what happened was initially seeing my brother, lift weights when I was around 15 years old, roughly, seeing him lift weights and just that increase in strength and muscle and that transformation from when he got, from being skinny to being more muscular himself. And then seeing that firsthand and in person, like over, several weeks and months, I was definitely, impressed. And I wanted to have the same results for myself. So that's one of the things that got me into weightlifting and working out, just seeing the positive changes that it can do just to one's body. Not even to mention, of course, their mindset and how they feel too. And then another key factor as well was, and this is a more serious, factor that happened in my past, but seeing one of my grandpas pass away due to not really eating, healthy, not living a healthy lifestyle and not taking his health seriously. He was, he was a veteran, I'll admit. So he did take care of his body in his early years and he was really active, of course, to be in the military. But later on in his life, he didn't take it seriously and he just fell off. And then from there, he didn't really care. He never really put on sunscreen. He always got sunburnt. And then he always just went for a lot of sugary foods too. So he didn't really, he was not mindful. He was not mindful of what he was putting in his body and what he was doing to his body. And sadly, that eventually and ultimately gave him cancer and he died of that cancer. So obviously that was a really difficult thing for me to have to deal with and face in my life. And that's hard for really anyone, honestly. But seeing that firsthand and him pass away that definitely put me in some deep depression for a little bit. But after that, I overcame that by really being motivated and inspired to not want to go down that same path, and really just want to make him proud for from how he would have been in his early years. I wanted to replicate that for my life, and also not have anyone else, meet that same fate, just like I didn't want to meet that fate. And so that really inspired, me to get into fitness as well, in addition to my brother lifting weights and seeing him get stronger.
Yeah.
So that made it really cool and really clear that this is what I want to do. Like, I love fitness, acting and modeling's cool, but fitness is one of the key things. And really, it's the most important thing. Health and fitness overall is, the most important thing anybody could do or have in their life, because health is wealth.
Yeah, it is, definitely. Well, I'm impressed by your work and by your attitude, because you're welcome. I lost my granddad to esophageal cancer because he smoked
Wow.
hell,
Yeah.
And I didn't think, well, I need to watch my health, I just thought he had bad habits and he died, right? And I missed him and I was upset.
Right.
But I moved on. But you learned from that. And you not only learn from that for yourself personally, but you also are helping other people. So I'm proud of you. Kudos. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and just seeing all the stuff they put in our foods too. And then after doing some research, this was another reason I would say that I was even more passionate about fitness and taking care of what's in my body and what I put in my body, was researching all the stuff they put in our foods, like all the artificial, ingredients, colors, all the sugars too that they'll add. It's nuts. It's really nuts. One serving or one cup of Pepsi, you're basically over your daily sugar, intake that you really want and need in a day.
Yes, I understand. I've been intimately familiar with the ingredients they put in stuff, because I suffer from hypertension, and it took me a while to start closely. I mean, I was well aware because I've studied nutrition for quite some time because of that. But then salt is in everything. Sodium is in everything, and so is sugar.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, everything. So, yeah,
yes.
I get where you're coming from with that.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One of the worst things, too, is like if you're, someone that's not vegan and you like to eat meat, one of the worst things you could possibly have, not that, protein in itself is good and lunch meat can be good, but a lot of the lunch meat can actually be unhealthy and can be really one of the worst things you can put in your body, other than, sugar itself, is because a lot of the deli meat they have in our grocery stores have so much sodium already pumped into it just to preserve it, which I understand the whole idea of preserving meat, but you can still get away with having, fresh lunch meat that's not sodium ridden, because they pump so much salt in that. Like, I actually went on, I'm basically on a low sodium diet other than a high protein diet. I also really just keep my sodium to the very minimum. And ever since I did that, I notice if I ever have some lunch meat that's not, low in salt, I can taste a huge difference, and I can't even eat it. It's so gross, actually.
And it's important that you brought that up, because this is a show about and for SoloMoms who have children, and sometimes lunch meat is their sandwich meat of choice, and I don't think it's something that we think about because we're trying to keep our kids healthy, but it is one of the worst foods we can eat because of all this stuff they pack into it to make it taste good. So, yeah. Sure.
Yeah, you're totally right on that. Like, I used to never really be concerned with what I was eating, like I was saying before. And, ever since I've researched this stuff too, it really does bring a whole new light to all this. Like, it is really nuts what they put in our foods. It's just insane.
Yes. Yeah, that awareness is key. So, okay. So I noticed that on your profile, you talk about anxiety. And
Yes,
anxiety is one of those things that we as solo moms, we kind of struggle with, right? So can you overcome anxiety, or is it just something you struggle with and try to manage? And if you
definitely.
can overcome it, how do you do that? Sorry.
Yeah, for sure. So anxiety, it's obviously one of the worst things anybody can, have to deal with, experience,
Mm-hmm.
and feel. Knowing myself firsthand, because I've actually suffered from horrible anxiety, especially when I was younger, and with just being bullied and not really always knowing what to do with my life or how to, go from day to day. Just anything
Yes.
would always give me great anxiety. What I how I feel about anxiety personally is that, and what I really know of it from everything I've researched and all the experiences I've had with myself and current clients and past clients, is that anxiety is definitely something that everyone will struggle with, but it's something you can manage and even reduce and potentially overcome if you do it right. You definitely can.
Okay, all right. um, I remember when I was younger and my husband left me with two little boys. I had an anxiety attack and I didn't know what it was. I mean, I have no clue. And
Yeah.
my blood pressure had skyrocketed. And rather than manage the anxiety, the doctor gave me pills for high blood pressure. And so I've always looked back towards that because I have a friend who suffered from anxiety. And that's how I now understand what that is and how it can affect us in different ways. So I appreciate you sharing that with us because it is a very big factor in how solo moms manage their lifestyle. So,
Yes,
yeah, thank you.
definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And there's definitely ways to overcome anxiety too, as well.
Yes, yes. Okay, thank you. So, what is Roman grateful for today?
Yes. What I would say personally, what I'm the most grateful for is knowing that I'm healthy and that I'm able to help other people become
Okay.
healthy and stay healthy as well.
Okay, thank you. So now that you're healthy and you want to help other people get healthy, talk to a solo mom. Explain how what you do can help her, and then tell her how she can connect with you.
Yeah, definitely. So, really, just first, how I can help any one person, in this journey, I say just first analyzing and figuring out the root problem and the root cause of your problem. And then from there, when you can pinpoint that and when you can, relay that to whoever, whether it's me or someone else that you know and that you love potentially,
Mm-hmm.
then you can figure out steps to actually overcome that. And what I recommend and how I can help is by giving gradual steps of change and how to overcome whatever problem that you're facing, whether it's, mental and mindset or just with your, physical with weight loss or trying to gain muscle, whatever it might be.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And how can we get in touch with you? Give us all your links.
Definitely. So I have several links. So I have several different social medias to you. You can find me at Facebook, Instagram, or even TikTok or YouTube. And it's Roman Fischer Official. Those are my handles. Now,
Okay.
for my website, you can find me at romanfischerofficial.com.
Okay. All right. Simple and easy. And we'll put those links in the show notes so people could connect with you. All right. Okay. So I really appreciate you coming and talking to me today, Roman. I want you to give a solo mom. I know you're not a mom, but you have a lot of knowledge and you have the mindset and discipline and self control to overcome. And I'm going to ask you if you could give one piece of advice to a solo mom who's struggling with weight or health something.
Definitely. So if you're struggling with, trying to lose weight and you're not seeing the scale move and it's frustrating and it's very time consuming and maddening, I would say the first thing is just to mentally keep a mental note and just remind yourself day in and day out every day that it's a process. It's a journey. Yes, we want to get to the destination. We all do, definitely. But it's the journey that matters. And it's more so, progress over perfection. And these things take time. It comes in phases. It doesn't happen overnight. Nothing really and truly happens overnight. And then I would say from there, don't obsess over the scale. The scale, to an extent, can, show where you're at, to an extent. But for the most part, focus on what's in the mirror and focus on, measuring yourself if you have tape measures. That way you can really see, how much weight you're losing and any fat that you might be losing too. Because the scale can not always be accurate, if that makes sense. Yes, it can be accurate to how much you weigh at that current, moment in time, but it's not really showing how much fat you're losing. And muscle weighs more than fat. So you could be gaining muscle potentially, and you could be just burning fat. And that's why the scale's not really going down, because you're gaining muscle, but you're losing fat. And since muscle weighs more than fat, your scale won't really go down. So you just got to really pinpoint to what you're training for, and if you might be gaining muscle, and you got to take all that into consideration, especially.
Right. Oh, cool. All right. So the scale is not always an indication of your progress, of your weight loss progress then.
Definitely.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Roman Fischer, for coming and speaking to us today. I really appreciate you. And I hope that one day in the future, I could call on you to come back and talk to us.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. All right.